Hey guys, welcome back to the Babbling Boots YouTube channel, where we babble about boots. In today's video, we're going to be doing a bit of a surprise unboxing. We're going to be unboxing a pair of White's 350 cutters that I got custom made from the White's website back in June, and they got here a lot faster than I thought they would. I'll go more into detail on that later, but right now let's just get into the unboxing. So here's the White's box. As you can see, it says White's, trust the original. And in this box we have another White's box. Also says trust the original. They're very big into trust. And in this box we have another box. No, I'm just kidding. These are the boots. So on the top they give you, looks like a round waxed cotton pair of laces. They're actually very thin. They're almost like shoelaces. I'm not going to untangle these right now. And they also have, I guess, a pair of rawhide laces you can use. I'm not really big into the cotton laces, so I'll probably end up using rawhide laces for these. They also give you, it looks like, some false tongues or kilties made in the same leather, Natural Chromexcel in my case. I'm not also a very big kilty person, so I probably won't be wearing these at all, but that is a nice touch for them to include these. Let's look at the boots themselves. Here's one. Here's the other. So these are the White's original 350 cutters that I got custom made. I believe the default option for the original cutters includes a woodsman heel and then a structured toe here, and then 2 rows of hand-sewn stitch-down construction. The boots that I got, though, I wanted them to be unstructured, so this is an unstructured toe box. It's just a standard block heel here, and it is a single row of hand-sewn stitching as opposed to the 2 that it usually comes with. Additionally, this is Natural Chromexcel leather. I saw that they have an option for the C350 cutters, which has double shot leather, but for some reason, if you get yours custom made, they don't allow to use double shot leather. Additionally, these are on the 50-50 last, which means they have the front toe box of the MP last, so it's a little bit more sleek, a little bit slimmer, but the heel area, the back half of the boot, is the 55 last, so it has more arch support. It's kind of like a hybrid of those 2 lasts combined. So that's also a custom addition I got to these boots. I believe the default stock option has the 55 last. And these also come with, well, the ones I got, I chose the Vibram mini lug sole. I think it's Vibram 4030 with a quabog, I think that's how you pronounce it, a quabog heel cap here in the back, and it looks like it's just nailed down. These are also lace to toe, as you can see here, and they have 6 eyelets, 2 speed hooks, and then another eyelet here at the top. And the inside, I believe, it's unlined, and I believe the insole is also leather, and they do smell very good, actually. That's like the natural Natural Chromexcel smell, if you've ever smelled that. It smells very good. There is a tag here. It says, "This product may contain a chemical known to the state of California to cause cancer, birth defects, or other reproductive harm." So that's a pretty neat feature. These do come with a little pull loop in the back, also Natural Chromexcel here. Feels like it's stitched on pretty well. I don't want to pull it too hard and worry about it breaking, but I don't think it's going to break. It feels very well made. The little speed hooks here also feel very strong on both boots. No issue with those. Overall, looking at these, I know White's gets a lot of flack for their QC they have on some boots. People complain about maybe the heel is not really cut very well or sanded very well. Maybe the stitching here looks kind of chewed up, or there's a lot of like loose stitches here. But mine look almost perfect. There's no loose stitching anywhere. The stitching here is not frayed or chewed up at all. That might also be because it's just one continuous stitch around. Maybe that's easier to do than having, you know, where the MPs, it kind of comes here together in separate stitches. So maybe that's why, because it's one continuous stitch. But other than that, it looks great. I think the only issue I could see maybe for some people would be under the arch here, where the midsole kind of comes into where the stitching is. The leather is pretty thick here. It seems like they might have been able to trim it a little bit closer to the stitching there, but that's really not that big of a deal. And if you're wearing it, you probably wouldn't even notice it. And you know, over time this will collapse down, so that's probably not even visible. Additionally, these are fully gusseted here. So the whole boot is gusseted all the way up to the top. So if you go in water, you can get water all the way up to here, and you don't have to worry about it getting in your shoe or anything like that. As I mentioned, I did go for the single row stitching here, and it is hand sewn. I chose single row stitching. You can get double row stitching, but I just wanted a sleeker look here. I know that I talked to a representative on the phone, and they said if you get a double row of stitching, it'll kind of make the midsole stick out a little bit more. So it'll look a little bit more chunky in the silhouette, and I didn't really want a chunky silhouette, so I did go for the single row of stitching here. As I mentioned before, this is the 50-50 last, so the front of it is the MP silhouette, which is a little bit pointy. I knew going into it was going to be pretty pointy, but I decided to go with it anyway. Since it's a custom pair of boots, I wanted it to be more unique. And if over time maybe I didn't like these, I could just go back and get like the stock option with the 55 last and try that out. So these are also unstructured. As I mentioned, the default option I believe is structured here. I chose unstructured just because I want the toe box to collapse over time. And I saw YouTube videos where people did have a structured toe box, and it was just a little bit chunkier than I would have liked. So one thing I did notice, just picking these up and taking them out of the box, is just how heavy they are. I do own Viberg service boots on the 2030 last, and those are also pretty heavy to me, but these are another level of heft. I have a scale here that I was going to weigh these just to kind of get a weight. So the right boot is 2 pounds 4 ounces. Let's measure the left one. I'd imagine it'll probably be the same. And it is not. It is 2 pounds 3.6 ounces. So this boot is actually 0.4 ounces lighter than the right boot. I don't know why that is, but they're pretty close to the same. Average of 2 pounds 3.8 ounces. So as far as sizing goes, these are the first whites that I've ever owned, so I'm not familiar as much with their sizing. So when I ordered these, I did have to measure my foot for them and then send in my sizing so they could size me appropriately. And they ended up sizing me as an 8C on the 50-50 last. For context, my Brannock size is 8.5C. And Viberg 2030 last, my most comfortable fit is the 7.5, just standard E width for them. And then I can also wear the 8E without any issues at all. Because I have higher arches, the 8E still hugs my instep. Even though there's more room in the toe box for my foot to move around, I do have a nice secure foot because of my higher arches. My first impressions of these, just trying them on really quickly, is that these fit more akin to the 7.5s that I have in the 2030 last for Viberg, where there's not as much room in the toe box. It fits my foot more snugly, which I like. I like more of a snug fit in my boots. So the snug fit really works out for me. I also know that a lot of times with whites boots, and I think more specifically with the 55 last, people say that the arch is pretty high, so it can kind of feel like a wooden dowel is sticking into the bottom of your foot there. This does have a similar arch to the 55 last, but for me, I didn't really notice, that effect where it feels like the boot's kind of digging into the bottom of your foot. And that might be because I have high arches. But to me, it just felt perfectly fine. My foot was just cradled by the shape of the boot without any issues. I mean, again, I didn't wear these for long periods of time. Maybe if I wear these around for, an hour or more, they'll start to feel the bottom of the boot digging into my foot. As far as the ordering process, I did order these as part of the White's Father's Day sale they had going on in June as a 20% off sale. I placed my order over the phone with the White's representative, I think on June 20th, and sent them in my foot measurements. They got back to me 10 days later, I think on June 30th, to confirm my sizing, which was the 8C they recommended. And then they said, these are a custom pair of boots and they are hand-sewn stitch-down construction. So the lead time for these boots is probably going to be 18 to 20 weeks from the day I ordered them. So I was expecting to see these boots maybe in November, early November at the earliest, 4 or 5 months later. But here I am, end of July, and they already sent me the finished boots. It took them a little over 3 weeks to make them. So I'm incredibly shocked that the turnaround time was not 18 weeks or 20 weeks, but it was essentially 3 weeks, which is just amazing to me that they were able to, hand stitch these and get them out to me that quickly. If anyone has a similar experience to me as far as the lead time for these boots, or if you have a different experience, please feel free to leave a comment and let me know, because I've seen a lot of posts online where people said they had to wait 4 or 5 months for their boots to get in. So I don't know if I was just lucky with my ordering, or maybe they sped up their production a lot and they're getting boots out a lot faster now. I'd be curious to know. So initially I was going to order these on the Baker's website. I believe they have kind of a custom template where you can order their White's Bounty Hunters and customize it fully that way. The issue with that is they only allow you to order the lace-to-toe on the 55 last, and I wanted the 50-50 last, so they weren't going to be able to make the boots for me to my specifications. So I had to go directly through White's, so that could also be why the lead time was faster. As far as the value for these boots, as I mentioned, I did get these as part of the Father's Day sale, so they were 20% off. I believe usually they retail for $700. With the sale of 20% off, I got these for $560 plus $20-something for shipping, which I think for these boots, custom made, it's a great deal. They're very similar in build quality and feel to Viberg. They're a little bit heavier because they are, meant to actually be work boots, where I think Viberg is kind of more of a fashion aesthetic now. These feel very substantial. They're built like tanks, as people say, and that part is very true. I think I would recommend these boots, if you're someone who's been in the boot community a long time and you've never had a pair of Whites, or you've never had a pair of lace-to-toe boots, I think these would be a great option. Additionally, if you're new to the boot community and you want a pair of these boots, I would recommend first, doing a lot of research into the components and the way they're built to know, make sure that's really what you want to buy. If you really like the way they look and you really like the quality of them and it's your first pair of boots, you have the money for it, or you're financially reckless like me, by all means get the boots. People say, oh, if you're new to the boot community, you have starter brands like Thursday and whatnot. I don't think it's necessary to buy a pair of Thursdays as your first boot. If you find a boot that you really like, by all means buy it. There's no reason to start off with some other brand if you don't really like it. It's a boot. Just buy it and wear it. So anyway, I hope you found this review helpful. Stay tuned. I will probably be doing a further in-depth analysis of this boot in comparison to the Viberg 2030 service boots that I own, and kind of just the breakdown of both and the pros and cons of each, and maybe which one I would recommend. So stay tuned for that, and thank you for watching.